This is the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the former Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of the world, and you're listening to Triviality right now, yeah.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hey, welcome to Triviality, the game where... My name is Ken. How you guys all doing today? We got Jeff, Neal, and Matt in the studio. What's up?
You cut out a little bit there, buddy.
What? What was that?
How are people going to know what this podcast is about?
I think they got it by now.
Oh.
I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit. You know that.
Your lack of seriousness is really concerning to me right now.
And if they couldn't figure it out from there, go back and listen to another episode.
No, that's fair.
I like recording at 7. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
I feel like everybody's a little...
And the gang's all here.
Lucky number 7. The gang is all here. We just came from, shaking down some gangsters in the alley and getting their candy in their quarters. So
they were shooting craps.
Chicago's very dangerous. I don't know if you've heard the news.
I know any corner you turn around, you might hear someone playing dice going, "Luck be a lady tonight."
Is that what happened? I have not experienced that yet.
You haven't seen Frank Sinatra in the alley throwing dice with Marlon Brando?
He's mostly dead, so no.
Don't get snake eyes. You know, you haven't done it?
That's a pretty good one.
That's just a Brando.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons to be excited today is because of our special guest host who is silently waiting as we joke around over Skype. Scott Barber, what's up?
How's it going, fellas? It's great to be on. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like it's a little overdue. We've been wanting to have you on for quite some time, so this is a good occasion to get you.
Yeah, we always thought that we had you locked in line to be on the show, and then time kept passing. We're like, wait a minute, Scott hasn't been on. We got to get Scott on. So we're just happy that it's happening. You know.
That's great. I mean, I'm a patient guy. I'm happy to wait, but this is a great show, and you have wonderful people come on week in, week out. So I'm more than happy to wait in line.
Yeah, but we would have kicked him out if you wanted to. It's fine. Well, you're one of the few people we actually met in person before we had on the show.
That's true.
You're at the Geek Bowl meetup, which is super fun.
Yeah, he was at our first meetup too, and he said he would be the first person to grab a T-shirt. So we appreciated it.
Yes, I was one of the first people to grab a T-shirt. I got several T-shirts. So,
one for each day of the week.
Yeah, you're like Seinfeld with his Porsches.
You just open the closet, just triviality shirts.
You're the Steve Jobs of Triviality.
I'm seeing it exactly like that scene in Luther when he opens up his closet and he's got 27 gray shirts, but they're all Triviality shirts.
Right. I don't think I'm as successful. So I'm maybe the Elizabeth Holmes of Triviality instead of the Steve Jobs.
So, Scott, can you summarize your life up to this point for our listeners?
Well, I'm accountant here in West Virginia. Lived here my whole life, and also one of the founding members of the Sinister Six. You guys probably have had. I think you've had every member of the Sinister
Six.
Infamous
Sinister Six. Yeah, I'm a founding. I tell people I am the 7th best player on the Sinister Six. Those guys are just killers. And
you're Doc Ock, right? Is that the?
Yeah. I'm allegedly Doc Ock. Yeah, Doc Scott. Or something like that. But with me being the 7th best player in Sinister Six, it shows you I'm not only a bad trivia player, but also a bad accountant. So
that's okay. It's your busy season, so we could forgive you if you're miscounting this time of the year.
I'm a little brain fried, but it's all good. But I love playing with those guys, and I know they've all been on, and it's just, like I said, a privilege for me to be on here now, following in their footsteps too, I guess.
So Scott's a big Boston Bruins fan and a big hockey fan, as we know. So me and Matt are going to team up today, and we're going to be the missing teeth in honor of our current Chicago hockey woes.
Jeff and I talk about music off and on, and I was telling him that I was on Spotify. It had your release radar playlist of things I should listen to, and I'm listening to a song, and I heard, Shaggy spitting some rhymes. He hadn't done anything in a while. I just heard him kind of like, Mr. And I was like, oh, that's
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, it's Jar Jar. And I was like, what's the Shaggy song? And then all of a sudden, I hear Sting singing the hook, going, so.
What is the algorithm that the Shaggy song pops up on your release radar that
I don't
you're
know.
listening to?
That's a good question. So we thought we would be
90s jams.
We thought we'd be Sting featuring Shaggy. So you could be Sting then. I'll be Shaggy.
You got it.
That sounds 100% correct.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's toss it over to the rules guy.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare, and I am the cream.
All right, well, rules guy is done. So, Scott, you want to take it away?
The first question is in the category of The Office.
All right.
No trick on this one. I tend to start out quizzes pretty, straightforward. In a memorable cold open from Season 3, Episode 20, Product Recall, Jim enters the office dressed as Dwight. At first, Dwight doesn't notice, but then Jim asks, question, what kind of bear is best? According to fake Dwight, or real Jim, what specific kind of bear is best?
False.
Yeah, we're locked in.
We can lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dwight says, well, there are basically
Yes.
2 schools of thought, and he goes, false.
He says, what bear is best? He said, well, actually, there's 2 schools of thought.
Yeah.
False. The black bear is best.
Agreed. False. The black bear is best.
And the answer is black bear.
All
Black
right.
bear is best. And that, of course, leads to the memorable line, Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Your second question's in the category of holidays. In 1908, Anna Jarvis held a memorial ceremony that became the first official observance of what commemorative day that years later, toward the end of her life, Jarvis unsuccessfully organized a petition to rescind.
Okay, we're just going to lock in with a guess on this one here.
I'm thinking like the Thanksgivings, Christmases, Halloweens, those would be unrelated to this.
Right.
It could have been to celebrate the dominance of the Cubs, which would continue for the next 100 years after.
Without a hiccup, in fact.
They had just come off 2 out of 3 World Series, and they were ready to dominate the next 100 years.
That makes sense. So I'm thinking.
But then off in the distance. Meh. Meh.
Hey, is that Billy Goat? Billy, what are you doing here?
Meh.
There's a fire? Billy, where's the fire?
It's a new character. This character's terrible. Apathetic goat. I hate apathetic goat.
Billy only gets paid SAG standard because we can't afford to pay him for more than
Ken's
one line.
first impression.
Is Timmy falling down a well?
I'm thinking it's maybe one of the like Memorial Days or a Labor Day or.
But she did want to rescind it, though. Wouldn't it be something maybe not popular, though? I mean, is there like Columbus Day maybe because of his misuse of the or the mistreatment of the Native Americans? Or
Columbus Day is an interesting one. I'm willing to get on board with that.
okay,
Let's do
I'm just
Columbus
throwing
Day.
out random. Okay, we'll lock in with Columbus Day.
Oh, I really like Columbus Day.
As an answer.
Yeah, but we locked in with
President's Day.
Well, it was in May of 1908, and it was the 3rd anniversary of the death of her mother.
Oh,
So the answer is Mother's Day.
Oh.
wow, that's really interesting.
Did she not like her mother by 1940s or what?
No, what happened is she resented the fact that it had become commercialized.
Oh, I see.
That
Okay.
makes
With
sense.
life, and it became very popularized in a commercial sort of sense, so she tried to rescind it. And ironically, and later on in life, she was hospitalized for a good portion of the end of her life, but the hospital stay that she was having was being paid for by donations by people who appreciated the fact that she founded Mother's Day. So
Oh wow.
Oh, that was nice.
And of
Good ending.
course, Neal appreciates Mother's Day due to the extra crispy hash browns that he gets from Mother's Day, which is a diner near us.
Yeah.
Mother's
Say
Day
for any of you who
restaurant.
weren't caught up on that story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I just went in the other day, and it was a new waitress, and I said, "Can I have my, my corned beef hash extra, well done, crispy, black on both sides, no pink, almost burnt?" And she goes, "You don't have to tell me. That's how I like it." And then she brought it
Whoa.
out, but it was not extra, well done. It was just
It
slightly
was just
dark.
extra well done.
But I'm too nice, and she's like, "Is this okay?" And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah,
this is fine."
Burn it black or I send it back.
we can move on now.
your next category is Civil War.
It's neither civil nor war. Discuss. Sorry.
Is that coffee talk?
No, Linda Richmond. Yeah.
Yeah, coffee talk. Discuss. As referenced by History.com, this Civil War Confederate general rode a horse named Little Sorrel, who is stuffed and on display at VMI, the school where he, the general, not the horse, was a professor of artillery tactics and natural philosophy before the war.
I think I've known this fact before. It's either got to be the one who has the rock mountain.
What?
The rock. He has
so close.
he has the rock thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Stonewall?
Stonewall Jackson.
See, we liked it with Rock Mountain Thomas. So
Rockwall Jackson. That's who I'd want to climb with.
Sam Rockwell?
Forget Free Solo.
Rockwell Jackson always feels like somebody's watching him, though, doesn't he? I mean,
Well played.
Maybe it's E. Lee. What's his phone? Robert E. Lee? Yeah, I'm thinking of Martin Sheen from the Civil War movie, TV movie. Maybe
Even
it's
Robert E. Lee you have to get from a movie.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Neal ever...
Abraham Lincoln. That was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Let's go with E. Lee.
Robert E.
Lee.
And we're going the other way with what was it?
Rockwell Thomas.
Rockwell Thomas. Stonewall Jackson.
Well, Robert E. Lee rode a horse called Traveler.
Oh, I wrote that question. That's why I was thinking of that one. Okay, that was my bad.
But Little Sorrel was the horse of Thomas Stonewall Jackson.
All right.
Your next category is, due to copyright infringement, I have to pronounce this literature. Shout out to another podcast out there.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, shout out to Trivial Warfare.
Who was the first American-born woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, awarded in 1938 for her rich and truly epic descriptions of peasant life in China?
Literature is my...
It's all of our weak point.
Yeah, it's what we call a myofascial point.
Uh-huh.
Can barely read.
Yeah, that's true.
Our local schools could not afford libraries, which is the problem.
Yeah.
We all pronounced it library till like 3 years ago.
Thanks to my mother, I pronounced the first meal of the day breakfast until I was in the 6th grade.
I think it's incorrect, but I guess just to lock something in, let's just say Virginia Woolf.
Okay. Say Virginia Woolf.
Well, I think the book is The Good Earth, but I don't know the author, so we said J.K. Rowling.
Oh.
You had the book with the good Earth. Well, it was awarded for. They don't really award a book, but that was pretty much the reason for it was the Good Earth, and the author of the Good Earth is Pearl S. Buck.
Okay.
I had the book right away. I had no idea about the author's name, so.
Your next category is baseball. What first ballot Hall of Fame player is credited with coining the term the Mendoza line, an expression to describe futility in batting? It is a reference to Mario Mendoza, a shortstop who had a career batting average of .215, but the Mendoza line itself is usually closer to .200. This player may also be known for a slightly viral video where he describes being violently ill in Las Vegas.
This is like a Matt question for sure.
No, I knew like all the information in that question except for the who came up with the line. So,
well, you feel free to take your guess.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Ken Griffey. I'm just saying Ken Griffey because Ichiro just retired. He's one of the best hitters of all time, one of my favorite players, and Ken Griffey gave him a hug.
Yeah.
We go Ken Griffey.
Okay, go Ken Griffey.
I based it on the Mendoza line. It's a really old saying, and I thought that it would be somebody who came up with it when he was younger and then had like an interview recently where this kind of thing would come through. And I thought, who's got kind of a wacky personality and tells these kind of stories? And all I could think of was Tommy Lasorda. So I locked it with Tommy Lasorda.
Well, the viral video, if you haven't seen it, you really do need to Google it because it's hilarious. He talks about being, and I can't stress this enough, violently ill after getting food poisoning in Las Vegas. It's one of the funniest 3 minutes I've ever seen in my life. And he's just describing it to these players during a warm-up session. And they're literally just trying to walk away from this guy. And this guy's a legend. and they're just trying to get where they need to go. And he just keeps on telling the story. He won't let them go. And and after he tells this awful story, he just turns around and says, who's pitching these 2 games? It's hilarious. But the player we're looking for, if I would have said third baseman, would have made it a little better. No. Player I was looking for is George Brett.
George Brett. He always had the chew in his mouth, right? He always had like the big, his cheek was always like one of those swollen.
Guys.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Also famous for the pine tar.
Pine tar, right.
Your next category is music. Don't shrink away from this question. What 2015 Rock and Roll Hall of Famer saw his first single, an R&B song released in July of 1961, peak at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, while refusing to quit his factory job making toilet seats for 747s as he felt the music industry was fickle? Hint, the song's title will make you think, I know it, a lot as you ponder this question.
Whoa.
I don't know if he said solo artist. That's what I was thinking. Could it be like Smokey Robinson by himself instead of with the Temptations? But
Could it have been Billy the Goat?
Suffered from shrinkage. He was in a pool.
Shrink away.
How about Lionel Richie?
Okay. We can do that.
Well, not exactly Lionel Richie, but we were thinking shrink away. Maybe it's somebody who's little, and we said Little Richard.
Well, the hint for the song that I'll make you think I know a lot is because I believe it's the words I know
Bill
is said
Withers.
26 times in the song. And I think you got it. It's Bill Withers.
I can't believe Jeff didn't get this because I once at like 12:30 in the morning was in his car and he literally counted them all out to me one by one. See, there's 26 here. I know. I sat there and he's just counting. And he's like, "Isn't that cool?"
That's the most OCD thing I've ever heard in my life.
It was very late.
Your next category is video games. What game is set in the future? Starting on October 23rd, 2102, Reclamation Day, where players leave the vault and rebuild America 25 years after the Great War.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Anything? Fallout maybe?
I was thinking Fallout. Yeah, leave the vault. That would be the kind of thing you do after a nuclear war. So
Okay, we just want to go Fallout?
yeah.
Okay, we're locked in with Fallout.
We too went with Fallout.
Can I get you both to be more specific?
I don't know if there's the newer one, but
I don't know the other.
okay, yeah, we'll go Fallout 76.
We said Fallout 2.
The vault that they leave is vault number 76. It's Fallout 76.
Nice, Jeff.
All right.
Your next category is college football. Who is the first college football coach in history to win a national championship with 2 different football bowl subdivision FBS schools since the inception of the AP poll in 1936?
I don't understand a single part of that question.
I'm gonna lock in then.
I know Urban Meyer has done it with Ohio State, and I think he did it before that with Florida, but I don't know if he was the first.
And then we also wrote down, let's see, Bear Bryant and
Well, I know Bear Bryant was really good. He was with Bama, and then if you're talking about Bama, Saban might have done it with another team. He was with Michigan State before that, but I don't think they were good then. Yeah, I know Urban Meyer did it, so
yeah, let's
at
just
least
go
we're
with
on
that.
the right track with that.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Yeah, as far as multiple titles with different teams, Urban Meyer seems like the right answer, so I also locked in with Urban Meyer.
Well, FBS encompasses all of college football, just the bowl division. There's FBS and FCS is the championship. That's what was used to be known as 1AA. And the first guy to do it with 2 different schools with LSU and Alabama is Nick Saban.
Yeah. I wasn't listening to the question right. I thought they had to be, I don't know. And he did a very bad job in the pros and got kicked back down to college, which is good because he won. So good for him.
Yeah, now he's the highest paid public official.
Good for him.
Like it's $7 million a year.
Yeah.
Your next category is movie tri-bond. What actor or actress is the connection for the following 3 films? Draft Day, Mother's Day, and Valentine's Day.
Good Lord. I know what draft day is about. That's about it. I assume that Mother's Day and Valentine's Day are about Mother's Day and Valentine's. Are they part of that, like those
Valentine's Day is.
those movies? But, yeah, I think Mother's Day is also one of those.
Maybe.
Like date.
Yeah, Valentine's
night or
Day, I
whatever.
believe, had Taylor Swift and her boyfriend at the time. And I'm losing his name, but he
Is
played
it-
Jacob in Twilight.
One of the Hemsworths.
Oh, he played Jacob in Twilight?
Yeah.
Taylor
Lautner.
Taylor Lautner,
Yeah.
who was supposed to play Stretch Armstrong until that movie thankfully died.
Taylor Swift.
Let's see. Yeah, sure.
She played the special assistant to the general manager of the
Or
Cleveland
let's say Busy Phillips. She pops up in that stuff.
Browns. Okay. Fine. Let's get busy, Phillips.
The movie out of the three that I've seen the most recently is Draft Day, because I love Kevin Costner, and his love interest in that film is Jennifer Garner, who I think is in one of the other films, if I remember correctly, although she might be in New Year's Day, which is the one that he didn't mention. But I'm going to go with Jennifer Garner.
Also famous for her starring role in the TV show Alias. The answer is Jennifer Garner.
I would have gone Peppermint, but that's okay.
Here's a little trivia for Billy to remember. Jennifer Garner has a hen called Hennifer.
That's right.
Not my favorite celebrity pet name.
Your last category in the first round, famous mathematicians.
Oh, good. Finally in my wheelhouse.
What Nobel Prize winning American mathematician was killed in a traffic accident in 2015 while returning from Norway after having received the Abel Prize for striking and seminal contributions to the theory of nonlinear partial differential equations and its application to geometric analysis?
Oh my God. Bob Dylan, locked in.
The real question is, did he win the Fields Medal?
I remember
or did
this
she win the Fields
happening.
Medal?
The Fields Medal. The Fields Medal.
Scott knows.
I think he and his wife both died in this car crash, if I've got the right person.
Just put it, whatever.
Okay, we're locked in.
It's not the guy from A Beautiful Mind, but it's somebody else of that, like...
Oh, wait, no, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
yeah,
is,
he
right?
died in a car crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was his name?
Oh,
You don't know his
great.
name.
Oh, I do.
John.
Quincy.
You.
John
Nash.
So
We're going to lock in John Nash.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, we didn't know until you guys said stuff, so we locked in early. This was a guy who used to hang out with that Leonardo DiCaprio crew in the early 2000s.
Da Vinci.
It's a little theory by him, Pythagoras. You might have heard of it. So we locked in with Pythagoras.
Wow.
Well, no word if Russell Crowe is going to film A Beautiful Mind 2 to put this bit of his life story in, but the answer is John Nash.
Nice.
That's funny because when we watched Beautiful Mind, I was like, oh, I wonder if he's still alive, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I remember that fact. It just didn't come to mind.
Because he had gone through so much trouble and strife and everything with his life, and he was still doing things. He was going to get that, or he got that prize, and just for it to end in a car crash, tragic.
Do you know if his wife was there too? Because I sort of remember.
Yes, his wife was killed in a car crash too.
That's what I
he was
thought.
about 85 years old, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I knew he was an older guy, at the time, but
A good note to end that round.
Yeah, so we're going to tabulate the scores.
It's not going to take very long.
No, it's
over
not.
here.
But Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit about Patreon?
if you want to support the show directly, which we would be very happy if you would be so inclined, you can do so directly at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. Now that gives us the opportunity to do some extra great behind the scenes stuff here, put out extra bonus episodes every month, but it also can get you a little bit of something. So if you check it out and see what perks might be right for you, again, you could do that at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
What's an example of something they can get, Jeff?
Aside from additional bonus episodes
Wow.
or autographed posters
Oh
or
my God.
or
Our autographs?
swag boxes, our autographs.
Wow.
And they are pretty sweet. We just got them into the studio today. We're going to send those out to the people who already support us at those levels. But if you'd like to be one of those patrons, please sign up.
Or just send me cash directly.
Please don't. I do all the accounting here. I don't want Ken making extra money on the side.
I don't want you to know about the extra money.
We don't want Jeff going to jail like Al Capone for tax evasion. So
No, that's okay. We're paid up from last year.
Please
so.
send cash.
Well, speaking of accounting, what are our scores?
We are at 20 points after the first
There's
round.
no accounting for that terrible performance.
Or the bad taste in your joke. And I believe we have 40.
All right.
all right. That's not terrible.
Now over to another accountant for the swing round.
All right, so your swing round, 10 questions in the category of phobias. Don't be scared. A lot of these phobias that I have listed, I didn't go very esoteric with them. I tried to make them either ones that you probably know or ones that you can kind of figure out. I just hope I can pronounce some of them because that's basically my fear. All right, so your 10 phobias, or I'm going to give you the phobia, you give me what it's the fear of, okay? Your first one is arachnophobia. Your second, panophobia, Panophobia. phobia. Number 3, papaphobia, P-A-P-A phobia. Number 4, agoraphobia. Number 5, leprophobia, L-E-P-R-O. Number 6, aeronausophobia, A-E-R-O-N-A-U-S-I phobia. Number 7, coulrophobia. That's C-O-U-L-R-O phobia. Here's the one that's going to be tough. Number 8, hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia. Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia. And I'm not spelling that out. 3 hours later. Number 9, ichthyophobia. I-C-H-T-H-Y-O phobia. And your last one, auroraphobia. A-U-R-O-R-A phobia.
All right, guys. After a lot of discussion about these fears and a little bit of discussion about a lot of branding in the 90s, including No Fear and Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes pissing on the No Fear logo, we are locked in.
All right, your first phobia, arachnophobia.
All right, we are going to go with spiders.
Yeah, executive produced by Steven Spielberg. Spiders.
We said fear of arachnids. No.
All right, points for everybody on that one. Fear of spiders is the correct answer. Number 2, panophobia.
We said fear of getting your picture taken.
We didn't know. We thought maybe Pan for Peter Pan, so we just said maybe fear of aging.
I like that too.
Well, no points on this one. Panophobia is the fear of everything. Panophobia.
Oh, that makes sense.
Number 3 is papaphobia.
All right, we thought this might be related to Papa John's pizza, and we said the fear of not so fresh ingredients.
Yeah, we discussed for a while on this one. We first said paparazzi because we heard Lady Gaga going paparazzi, but Jeff said maybe fear of father or father figure.
Well, I don't think I can give you credit for it because it's very specific. Papa is in papal. Fear of the Pope.
Okay.
Number 4, agoraphobia.
We said open or public spaces.
We agree. We said fear of open or public spaces.
Points all around. Fear of open spaces or leaving safe spaces. Either one's acceptable.
All right.
Number 5, leprophobia.
Just thought of leprosy, and we said like diseases or sickness.
Yeah, we had the same thought on that. We said fear of disease.
Oh, I wish you would have went a little more specific. It is specifically the fear of leprosy.
Why wouldn't you be afraid of leprosy?
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
I think I got a little leprophobia.
I think that's pretty.
Sounds
Yeah,
deeply
that's
unpleasant.
It's pretty logical.
I don't know if that. Yeah. Well, it's got to be an irrational fear to be a phobia, right?
Yeah, if you feel like you're going to get it everywhere.
Like Jeff feeling like he's going to get it in the studio.
Not irrational.
Oh, okay.
Wearing his hazmat suit while we record.
For the right Patreon perk, we will expose leprosy in the studio.
Wait, what's the level on
That's
that?
our
again?
stretch goal. We'd have to get a lot of oatmeal for oatmeal baths.
But we won't do it until after 20,000 a month for what? 10 years?
10 years,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
correct.
Number 6, aeronausophobia.
We said flying.
Yeah, we said fear of flying.
It's actually the fear of vomiting secondary to air sickness. Aeronausophobia.
that makes
Well,
sense.
I've got that one.
Oh, there was a guy on our flight that had that.
Would have
Yeah,
went to
The
Vegas.
whole time.
He was having a rough time on that flight.
So does that have to be the fear of vomiting from
Flying.
an airplane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All
I
right.
think
Otherwise, it
that's
would just
pretty
be
logical fear
nausophobia.
too.
Yeah.
Number 7, coulrophobia.
That is the fear of clowns, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we were saying couliophobia, maybe like fear of Dave Coulier. So we
Change the whole word just for that joke.
I'll cut it out.
No, it's got us.
Got him.
It's a fear of wood.
Got him. So we didn't know. We just said we know there's no H in what Scott spelled for us, but we just said the fear of cholera.
No, it is the fear of clowns. Fear of clowns is the correct answer.
We picked the wrong disease to go all in the fear of.
Right, here's number 8.
Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
Yes.
Hippopotam monstrous sesquipedaliophobia.
We understand
I'm
if you're
afraid of
afraid
it.
to say it, yeah.
Fear of long words.
We agree. Fear of long words.
Yeah, sesquipedalia is in there, and it is the fear of long words. Correct. Brings us to number 9, ichthyophobia.
We thought this was the fear of public speaking, which we had to get over when we started a podcast.
Like the word ichthyomorph was stuck in my head for some reason, and I couldn't remember why. So we thought maybe ichthyomorphs were those bugs that like changed in a cocoon. So we said fear of change.
Well, ichthyology is the study of fish, so ichthyophobia is the fear of fish.
Oh, that's what my mom has. She's very hard phobia of fish, specifically goldfish. Can't look at them in magazines. Finding Nemo.
Like the little cheesy snacks?
Anything, because her cousin, when she was younger, threw a bucket of dead, bloody fish at her, and ever since she's had a phobia.
That is a crazy
I
story.
know somebody with severe ornithophobia, which is the fear of birds. And
Your sisters.
they had a desk calendar that was like all like lovely nature scenes except for June, which was like a real close-up photo of a bird.
Just the eye.
And you best be sure the first day of June, I flipped their calendar and taped it to their computer at work.
I'd like a
Called off for
calendar.
a whole month.
I like a calendar that's like a wide shot of a tree on January, and every time you flip, it just gets closer to one of the branches, and then there's a bird sitting on it, and then it just zooms into the eye of the bird. So by the time you hit December, it's just the bird eye.
It's a very specific calendar you like.
I'm gonna make it. New Patreon perk, bird calendar.
Your final phobia is auroraphobia.
We said lights.
We
not,
said-
not the Canadian pop musician.
No, we agree. We said fear of lights, figuring that Aurora was for lights.
It is also, I wish you would have went a little more specific. I think I heard it discussed. It is the fear of northern lights, specifically the northern lights.
Or at least we said it, Jeff. You said it. I was thinking it was Sleeping Beauty, so.
Yeah.
All right.
So
No, we
picked-
got... Yeah.
My favorite unmentioned phobia is one that I just don't understand, and apologies to the people who suffer from it, but lepidopterophobia, the fear of butterflies.
They have to be having a rough time in California. Apparently, they're overrun with butterflies.
Are they?
Yeah.
I think it's from like the erratic movement is the belief for a lot of the causes of that one, but not what I understand. So
Well, we picked up an extra 20 points on that, bringing our total to 40.
And we picked up 15, bringing our total to 55.
Catching up.
All right, second round starts now. Your first question is in the category of Olympics. Who won the all-around gold medal in women's gymnastics at the 1984 Olympic Games, becoming the first American woman to do so? She's also the first female athlete to be featured on the front of the Wheaties box.
We are locked in, apparently.
Mr. Gymnastics.
Strong legs.
That's a good Shaggy impression, actually. It's not bad.
It's not a good Shaggy.
It's not bad at all. Mr. Lover.
What do you think of that impression, Billy? Ma.
Mary Lou Retton.
could be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that name's coming to me, but I think I was not thinking of the actress from Taxi, but I believe Mary Lou Retton is the Wheaties.
That sounds right.
Okay, that's what we're gonna lock in with.
Yeah, you guys danced around it for the entire time just to come up with the answer of Mary Lou Retton.
She was America's sweetheart. In 1984, she was Mary Lou Retton. Correct answer. Second question in round 2 is See You in the Funny Papers. Tom Wilson was the creator and longtime cartoonist of what comic strip, whose main character shares a sense of fashion with other animated figures, such as Winnie the Pooh or Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants?
You're a big Marmaduke
It's
guy.
no pants,
Right.
All right,
We're looking
okay.
at no pants here.
So it's not Marmaduke. 'Cause
Yeah,
Marmaduke's
that's
a
what-
They,
dog.
they share a fashion sense with us in the studio.
The name rings a bell. I feel like I've heard of the guy before.
Let's just say that. It's a comic.
I like them. I was going to go with a different one, but that works. So.
If you have a better guess, go ahead.
I don't. It's not better.
Was
All right,
there?
we're locked in.
You're locked in. Was there a comic named Wilson?
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson was from Dennis the Menace.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So
He
But
did
he
not
wore
wear
pants.
pants.
Mr. Wilson didn't wear pants? And he had
They-
Dennis over all
They-
the time?
they oh my God.
That's a problem.
They both wore pants. Dennis wore red pants. If I'm
I don't know
mistaken.
why what Ken said, but
I sort of remember some Garfield characters
Garfield
wearing shirts.
I think
Yeah.
I feel like Garfield because the dog
or like even some
Bruno. What's his name?
Of the Odie.
Oh,
Yeah, Bruno.
It was played by Bruce Willis.
I still remember like some of the
Garfield, give me that lasagna.
Some of those like Garfield and Friends characters wearing shirts, right?
Yeah, let's go Garfield. I feel like Tom Wilson. It feels like someone I've heard of before.
All right.
Oh, and Friends some of them wore shirts, but what was there? It was 100 Acre Wood or 100 something or other. I forget what it was.
100 Acre Wood was Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. I forget what it was. Anyway, we locked in with something that we think is wrong and said The Wizard of Id.
Oh, I think that's right.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately, no points this time. The character we were looking for, again, you figured out, shirt, no pants. It's a character named Ziggy.
Oh, Ziggy.
Everyone hates
Does
Ziggy.
think with the big nose?
Yeah.
Big nose, yeah.
Yeah.
Old Big Nose. Also shared in common with Squidward.
I'm going to also say that the Wizard of Id probably doesn't wear pants, but I guess you can't prove that from the robe.
All right, your third question round is in celebrities. Breaking out as the MC and as a comic on the original Kings of Comedy, this celebrity is probably best known these days as a talk show and game show host, as well as probably the most hated person in Colombia.
Yeah.
Locked in.
Oh, it's the man with the whitest teeth and the biggest smile, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, so we locked in with Bernie. Wait, no, actually the answer that we're going with is Steve Harvey.
All right, points all around. You got it right. Steve Harvey.
I'm always laughing every time I see him on Family Feud. He's cracking up.
He's so funny.
He just, every minute of that show seems like bliss to the guy.
Yeah.
God bless
enjoying
him.
life.
God bless him.
Second only to Louis Anderson for me.
He's got a very thick mustache.
He does. It's glorious.
THICC.
And he's the most hated person in Colombia for his memorable gaffe in the Miss Universe pageant of 2015, where he announced the wrong winner.
Well, we've all been there.
Who hasn't, right?
We did one time.
That's true. It's hard to keep score.
It was actually a tie.
Your next category is the NBA. Who is the only player in NBA history to win the NBA Finals MVP despite losing the series? He's also the first NBA Finals MVP in the history of the league.
Wow.
I've heard this so many times because in 2015 they were talking about LeBron possibly being the MVP because nobody was standing out on that first Golden State when Iggy actually won the MVP, and this came up over and over. I'm gonna.
Billy,
go.
do you know the answer? No.
Team No Teeth mascot Billy, just no help this round. So I wrote down Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Bill Russell, one of the best basketball players of all time, also from Boston, which we know Scott enjoys Boston sports. So that's why I wrote Bill Russell down so far. And then Kareem. So
yeah, I just can't imagine Bill Russell's team losing because he can just carry anything on his shoulders. But yeah, I don't mind Bill Russell. I mean, he was in a bunch of finals, so the probability is high.
Okay, we're gonna go Bill Russell.
Yeah, originally I wrote down the logo Jerry West. That sounded right, but then I remembered, I think it's this guy who is more known for shooting his free throws underhand, but I think this might be right, so I locked in with Rick Barry.
All right, you talked about forgetting about Bill Russell. The award itself is actually called the Bill Russell NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award, and it was in 1969, and the player to lose the series but win the award was the logo himself, Jerry West.
Why did
I was gonna say
out?
Jerry West, but I didn't know. Yeah.
What am I thinking? I'm having a rough game.
Your next category is in power couples. Kimberly Williams, star of According to Jim and the Father of the Bride movies, is married to what Grammy Award-winning country music singer? I actually thought he was married to Carrie Underwood as much as they co-host award shows.
I believe we're locked in.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe it's a Keith Urban.
Keith Urban is with Nicole Kidman. So anybody else besides him?
Jason Aldean.
Sure.
Okay, we're locked in with Jason Aldean.
So this artist definitely wears his shirt, unlike Jason Aldean. I believe the way the story goes, if I'm correct, is Kimberly Williams is in Father of the Bride, which Scott mentioned. Brad Paisley had a huge crush on her from Father of the Bride, casted her in one of his early music videos. fell in love with her. They got married, and he also is one of the #1 Cleveland Browns fans. I believe it's Brad Paisley.
Is he the one in the commercials?
Yeah, he was with Peyton Manning. He's like sitting like Nationwide is on your side.
Yeah, and he always hosts the CMAs with Carrie Underwood. So.
Okay.
So tell them they're right, and then we can move on.
They've hosted CMAs, I believe, 11 times.
Wow.
Carrie Underwood, and the right answer, who is Brad Paisley.
And she's married to one of the Nashville Predators, right?
Yeah,
He's a hockey
I think it's
player.
Mike Fisher. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yep.
Pecorine.
The Finn?
Yeah.
All right, your next category is the right stuff, and it's not New Kids on the Block trivia.
God, man, hanging tough. 30th anniversary just released.
I'm doing my New Kids dance right here in the studio.
On October 14th, 1947, who made aviation history in a Bell X-1 aircraft named Glamorous Glennis as a tribute to his wife?
So only two answers are coming to my head. One that you always say at trivia, Jeff, and for some reason I can never remember it. The guy who broke the sound barrier, Chuck Yeager. Chuck Yeager, but it also makes me think of Neil Armstrong because, and this is funny, I have not seen the movie First Man, but there's a whole sequence where he crashes an aircraft when he's testing, but maybe that wouldn't have been 13 years before he went on the moon or whatever it was. But yeah, Chuck Yeager, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to lock in with Chuck Yeager.
Good talk.
That all seems too late for the time that he gave. So we said Charles Lindbergh.
Well, Glamorous Glennis was the wife, and her last name was Yeager. And the answer is Chuck Yeager. He broke the sound barrier in 1947.
Really bombed that one.
First time that Chuck Yeager has been right for us, even though we said it like 7 trivias in a row.
You were due.
All right. Your next category is college sports. What NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver also ran college track for one meet? The 1997 Southern Conference Indoor Track and Field Championships, winning both the 55-meter and 200-meter titles while also setting school records in both.
No comment.
I know. I was going to say yay to the sports, but then I'm like, I've gotten all these wrong, so I'm going to not be excited. But
Who
I
are
think,
you? You're an imposter.
Yeah, 97. We can lock it.
Yeah.
So I wrote down, Randy Moss is the first person I thought of. I just can't remember if he was actually receiving in 97 or if he would have like graduated, got drafted in like 98, 99, and then he played for, 10 years. And then he was just put into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, I think. Either him or Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens is the one who...
T.O. too.
I don't know which one went to a Southern school. That's where the question here. Do you happen to know where they went to college? No, Neil, I don't. So I think I'm gonna Randy Moss or Terrell Owens. I'm gonna go with Randy Moss. We're gonna lock in with that.
Ooh. Randy Moss, who went to Marshall, which is in the Conference USA. But I'm just picturing the 1998 NFC playoffs with a rookie Terrell Owens catching passes, and I'm just thinking I locked in on Terrell Owens, so we said Terrell Owens.
Well, Marshall is currently in Conference USA, but previously they were in the MAC, and before that, when they were 1AA in 1997, 96 going into 97, they were in the Southern Conference. The answer is Randy Moss.
Wow.
I'm coming alive.
The legend of Moss running that track meet is legendary. He broke the school record on Friday, the first meet. Never ran any college track ever. And the coaches came to him, taught him how to come out of the blocks for like a day, and then just waited on the bus. And 10 minutes before the bus was supposed to leave, he just walks on the bus, goes to Southern Conference, breaks the school record on Friday, comes back, breaks the school record again on Saturday that he just set the day before, walks off with the trophies, qualified for the NCAA 200s, and never ran again.
Wow.
I refuse to run.
That's basically what he did.
He did it in his Lux boots, too. It was amazing. It was just, didn't even have track shoes.
All right. Question number 8, geology. According to USGS.gov, anthracite, bituminous, subbituminous, and lignite are the 4 major types of what?
I don't know. That's my only help with the rock.
Sure.
Unless it's the Rundown or the Scorpion King.
I'll lock in with Matt's answer.
Cool.
All right, what were you thinking, Jeff?
I think it's coal
Coal.
because
Okay.
he said anthracite.
What does that mean?
That's kind of coal, I think.
Okay.
That might
Go
help.
check out the Anthracite Museum.
They call it Scranton. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, coal's fine with me.
I think it's coal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were wrong. So we said geodes.
Those are all 4 types of coal.
He does
Coal
live in
scraping.
West Virginia.
Your 9th question in the round is in extreme sports.
Extreme.
Allison Hargreaves, Junko Tabay, Lynn Hill, and Catherine Destaville are considered some of the all-time greatest female athletes of what kind of what kind that, according to Ernest Hemingway, was one of only 3 sports, along with bullfighting and motor racing. That's a lot of question. I may have to have some oxygen after that.
So Junko Tabay, I've heard some of these names before. If Ernest Hemingway said that it was one of the 3 great
That makes
sports,
sense, right?
it would have to be something that was around during his time.
Okay, we're locked in.
So here's what I'm thinking. He said oxygen, which makes me think altitude or underwater maybe, but I don't think maybe Hemingway would have diving maybe of some sort.
Mountain climbing.
Mountain climbing is kind of where I'm. So Ernest Hemingway, I could see him saying
He wrote Snows of Kilimanjaro, didn't he?
The Rains of Cashmere. Yeah, he wrote
The Rains of Cashmere. Is that what you just said?
I said Cashmere.
But the Rains of Cashmere is on sale this weekend at Macy's. Yeah, mountain climbing makes sense. Either mountain climbing or diving. Because
You're not
why
supposed
would
to
you
get
need
cashmere wet? Right? I don't know.
So what do you think? Diving or maybe mountain climbing? I feel like that's an Ernest Hemingway thing.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, we're gonna go with. Is that specific enough? Mountain climbing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, mountain climbing.
We also went with rock/mountain climbing.
All right. Ernest Hemingway said there was only 3 other type sports. Everything else is just play: bullfighting, motor racing, and mountaineering. Mountaineers, mountain climbing. That is correct
All
answer.
right.
Hey, back on the board.
It's been a while.
All right.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. West Virginia Mountaineers, right?
West Virginia Mountaineers is
Yeah.
correct.
There's actually a new documentary on Netflix about this guy who he's a mountain climber and he lost his thumb and he did this crazy
Oh, yeah.
it's straight up like a flat rock and he climbs like the
Free
whole-
solo?
Yeah,
Free
some-
solo on. Yeah, it just won Academy Award. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a thumb.
And he got they got kidnapped by these people.
That's the other guy.
No, it's the same guy.
No. So the guy that you're talking about is in Free Solo, but
Oh,
he's
okay.
not the main subject of Free
He's
Solo.
not free solo.
He's not Free Solo.
Brother Han Solo.
It's Han's cousin. Yeah.
But there's another documentary about how he got kidnapped and escaped.
Yeah, and how he retaught himself how to climb without a thumb because a lot of people
Tommy
Mhm.
something.
Tommy Mountain.
Tommy Mountains.
Tell me something.
I thought you were going to say Tommy Schmeek.
Don't talk about Tommy Schmeek.
Well,
Tommy Mountains.
Tommy Mountain.
It's all right.
I don't know what's happened in this episode.
Next, mercifully.
Your final category in the round is in U.S. history. Recently, thanks to our visit to Geek Bowl 13, we learned that Nevada was a battle-born state formed during the Civil War. What is the only other U.S. state to be created during the Civil War occurring on June 20th, 1863?
I asked this question. I wrote it. And that's what happens. You forget.
Yeah, I was relying on you because you wrote it.
Nevada was made a state on Halloween.
I think it's Maine. I think Maine is way later than I think.
Okay. And if you have more thunder behind it than I do.
Let's go Maine.
Okay. If it's Utah, you will not survive the night.
Yeah.
I don't hope to anyways at this rate.
I remember this happening because they needed to add another, I believe it was a non-slave state or if it was the slave, because one was admitted as a slave state, one was
Yeah, I
admitted
would
as a
guess so.
non-slave state. And I thought it was somewhere in the Midwest and it was something that we thought would already be a state. And I was kind of leaning towards Missouri, so we locked in with Missouri.
Well, I was hoping you guys would have picked up on the theme of the game, but every question I have asked today has had a reference to West Virginia in the question. Every question.
So the answer is Missouri.
So the answer is Missouri. Exactly. So. The only other battle-born state is West Virginia.
I couldn't remember if
Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
But yeah, every question: Anna Jarvis, born in West Virginia; Pearl Buck, born in West Virginia; George Brett, Bill Withers, Nick Saban, Jennifer Garner, John Nash, Mary Lou Retton.
We're stupid.
Tom Wilson, Steve Harvey, Jerry West, Brad Paisley, Chuck Yeager, Randy Moss, Cole, of course, Mountaineers, West Virginia.
Wow.
Even the halftime, if you take the first letters of the phobias and spell it down.
No way. He's right.
Oh, Appalachia.
Pronounced Appalachia, but
I hate myself.
As an Appalachian American, I can say that. But
this is like M. Night Shyamalan right here.
The West Virginia one is terrible too, because
does that mean we've been dead the whole time?
I knew they seceded for the purposes of becoming a free state, but I thought they did that before the war-ish. Didn't realize.
I'm so disappointed in myself. Turns out Scott Barber is Kaiser Sose.
Oh, I see a coffee mug dropping in the background.
Well, we actually had a really good round other than that last question. So we picked up 70 points there.
Wow.
So we are up to 125.
Yeah, crushed.
We're at 70, baby.
Yeah.
Total
is at 70. Oh, man.
All right. So your final 5 categories, I promise, have nothing to do with West Virginia, except for the category names.
Okay.
Your final categories are Almost Heaven, Mountains and Rivers, Older Than the Trees, Country, with a little subset there of music, and Roads.
All right. The wagers are in, so let's get the questions, please.
All right. Your first question, the final. Almost Heaven. As described by Dante, Mount Purgatory has several levels reserved for various deadly sins, but atop it sits what? There are 2 possible answers to this question, but I need you to be specific. Your second question. Mountains and Rivers. According to worldatlas.com, at 14,800 feet, the Yarlung Tsangpo, that's Yarlung Tsangpo River, is the highest river in the world and can be found in this self-governing region whose capital is Lhasa, Lhasa. Older than the trees. According to SmithsonianMag.com, while trees have been in existence around 350 million years, what animal predates that, having lived now for around 400 million years? Country music. In 2017 to 2018, what song became the all-time longest reigning Billboard Hot Country #1 single with 50 consecutive weeks at the top spot? And again, that's the country charts. And roads. U.S. Route 66, one of the most legendary roads in the United States, is also known as the blank Memorial Highway.
Just on it.
That's like it's on signs literally 5 minutes
I
from
was
here.
on it yesterday.
I took it here.
And the suffering is finally coming near an end as all the answers are locked in.
Oh, I feel bad now. Now I feel like I'm the guy causing the suffering. I feel like
You only caused one team to suffer. The other team's doing just fine. So don't worry about it, man.
All right, your first category, Almost Heaven. As described by Dante, Mount Purgatory has several levels reserved for various deadly sins, but atop it sits what? There are 2 possible answers to this question, but they must be specific.
We wagered 10 on this one, and we just said salvation.
We wagered 5. I don't really know. I only know 2 words around this area, and it was like lust something, and then the earthly paradise I've heard many times in different writings. I have no idea if it has anything to do with it, but we said the earthly paradise.
One of the answers I would have accepted would have been simply the Garden of Eden. But the other one that I needed you to be specific on had the word paradise, and I wasn't going to just take paradise, and the correct answer is the earthly paradise.
Nice, Neal.
Neal, where have you been?
Yeah.
That's the only one I'm going to get right, so.
All right.
Mountains and rivers, according to worldatlas.com, at 14,800 feet, the Yarlung Tsangpo River is the highest river in the world and can be found in this self-governing region whose capital is Lhasa.
We just guessed Nepal. It's pretty high up there. And we wagered 10.
Yeah, so we wagered 5 on this one, and I think Lhasa is the capital of Tibet, although to call it semi-autonomous is kind of funny because I'm pretty sure China's never letting that thing go. So we said Tibet.
They consider themselves self-governing, and the answer is Tibet.
Just
All right.
don't tell China that.
Older than the trees. According to SmithsonianMag.com, while trees have been in existence around 350 million years, what animal predates that, having lived now for around 400 million years?
We wagered another 10, and we said the tardigrade.
Neal and I wagered nothing, but that's okay. We didn't look back because we're sharks, so we said sharks.
And the correct answer is sharks.
We are getting pummeled.
What's going on here?
Country music. In 2017-2018, which song became the all-time longest-reigning Billboard Hot Country #1 single with 50 consecutive weeks at the top spot?
For another 10, we said Matt.
The Honky Tonk Badonkadonk.
Oh, classic Honky Tonk Badonkadonk.
Wait, is that what's his name? Got the low voice.
I have no idea.
Okay,
It's Toby Keith, right?
No, Trace Atkins.
That's him. Yeah, Trace Atkins.
Both terrible.
Wow. We wagered 0, and Jeff and I were between Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood. We thought maybe it was Taylor Swift. We just didn't know what the song was, so we just ended up just saying Before He Cheats.
Classic Carrie Underwood.
The artist that performed the song was BB Rexa and Florida Georgia Line. The song is called Meant to Be.
Yeah, okay.
FGL now, actually.
That's actually what I have written on my paper is FGL. So. And roads, U.S. Route 66, one of the most legendary roads in the United States, is also known as the Blank Memorial Highway.
We said for 10 big points, Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, that makes sense. We know this road. It's a minute away from us. It's where our pub trivia is, but we could not think of what's on the sign. So we wagered 5, and we just said in honor of Scott writing this wonderful game, we said Country Road.
Well, the person who the highway is named after, it is the Will Rogers Memorial Highway. Will Rogers.
I have just counted up my points here, and we have 20 points.
Sounds more like you counted down your points.
Yeah, it looks like you boys over there have 130, meaning you're today's cream of the crop.
There is no doubt about it, yeah.
Sugar.
It's
gotten worse as the night's gone on. And now it's just a straight up Muppet.
It wasn't me. It was Shaggy.
Oh, here we go.
Boo.
The impressions were terrible, but the game was great.
Yeah.
That's our new tagline. The impressions were great, but the game was terrible. Or no, the game was great, but the impressions were terrible.
Compressions.
What's compressing your brain right now?
Oh my God, that was rough.
Oh.
He squeezed all the answers he had out of it, and now he's got nothing left.
Too stuffy in here. We need to roll our window down.
Yep. All right, well, Scott, thanks again for hosting today.
Oh, happy to. Thank you for finally having me on. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome, and it's always better for me to sit in the host seat because, like I said, when it comes to my team, I know nothing on compared to the other 5 guys on my team.
You're
So
the Jon Snow of your trivia team.
And even
I know absolutely nothing compared to those fellas. So
a lot of twists and turns, surprises.
Yeah, it was like a
lot of ups and
Impressions,
downs.
ups and downs, like the roads of
backwoods
West
of-
Virginia.
Would you like to give some shout outs before you head on out of here?
always shout out to Sin 6, Jeffrey Skuritan, Dan Lundberg, Mike Cameron. Today's Mike Cameron's birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday, Mike.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
By the time he hears this, he'll be happy belated birthday to Mike Cameron. Phil Sanford and Wesley Wells, of course. Those guys, I would be absolutely nothing without them. They are some of the best players I've ever played with, and just love those guys. And shout out to them because I know they're listening.
Good guys.
Yeah.
Heck of a team.
All right, Matt, you want to get to some reviews here?
Yeah, so we've made the call out and asking for some of these reviews, and you guys have really listened. We got a bunch of them. We're up to 127, which is awesome. We're on our way to 150. If you'd like to give us reviews, we like it. Just like our friend here, Kevin Knott, who says that we're the cream of the crop, and listening to this podcast is literally like playing trivia with your bros. So we're all bros here.
Thanks, bro.
Minus all the logistics. Great. Amazing host. Excellent guests. That would be you, Scott. Awesome. Great format. Be prepared to laugh and learn. So I feel like we laughed and learned today.
I laughed.
I learned a
Not
lot.
for the right reasons.
So thank you for the review, Kevin.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. That was a very shocking game, learning that everything was about West Virginia. Thank you, Scott, for hosting. For Jeff, Neal, Matt, and myself, that was Triviality. Woohoo.
Ooh. Ah. Yours is so good because so many people with Macho Man go right for just the oh yeah and the snap into a Slim Jim, but that's not how he always talked. It's the rising and then the quiet, and then he gets real loud and he takes it down a little bit. And
that's the secret to Macho Man is start out real low like this. You start out low and you work on the sunglasses and you make the
thinks a
neck,
little bit about
and
Jet
then
Tunney.
you kinda go up on it. And you bring it back down.
Yeah, that's the key.